Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you to a very special TGI Tuesday stream. And yeah, I brought it back because I can, because I'm DJ Storms, and I can do whatever I damn well please. This is the very special TGI Tuesday streams. You never get a lot of them. But when you do, you can bet your ass that you are always in for a damn good fucking time. As of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle, Wow. Woo! Do you smell that? Do you know what that is? Do you know what that is? I said, do you know what that smell is? I'll tell you what it is. It is the smell of pure fucking excellence. Wait for it. Wait for it. To mankind. And this is the official rundown for NXT Deadline 2022, which of course is streaming live this Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the Peacock, that is. Get your mind out of the gutter, you fucking animals. I did not raise animals here in the chat. I raised civilized human beings. It is Peacock. Okay? This Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock down in Orlando, which is why Ring of Honor Final Battle is taking place at 4 p.m. in the afternoon, because Triple H and WWE continue to be petty fucking children. It is what it is. It is what it is. But regardless, we're here. We're live here on this special Tuesday. And we're going to talk a little bit about NXT, although I'm not sure who really gives a fuck about NXT. Probably none of you. I merely watch NXT to keep myself aware. I don't take any fucking notes on it, but I do keep myself aware. But we got a solid turnout. I see we got Nick Fury in the chat. I haven't seen you in a while, bro. Thank you very much for joining. We also got the Shooter, Paul, a.k.a. the Shooter. We got Peanuts. We got DD. We also got Adam Carl and Lisa Wardlow. Very happy that all of you decided to join me here and spend your Tuesday evenings with moi. I mean, there's no better way to spend your Tuesday evenings than watching DJ fucking Storms, all right? Okay. I do have a couple of news and reports to go over. So it's not just going to be strictly about NXT. We do have a couple of reports to go over, including the biggest one, obviously, being William Regal and what's going on with William Regal. It has officially been confirmed that he is gone from AEW and a WWE return is being finalized. We will talk about that first, and then we're going to talk about a couple of other minor news, rumors, and reports, just because I figured that if you guys aren't coming here for the NXT portion and you're just coming here to watch me flail my arms and do my usual antics and shit, listen, I am perfectly fine with that, but I feel as though I want to give the wrestling fans at least something to sink their teeth into, considering NXT sucks. NXT sucks. But we will be talking about what NXT Deadline must be, what it must mean, and what they need to do in order to make it something of substance, the best that it could possibly be. So we're going to talk about that, and we will talk about the news and rumors like I just stated. But before that, please, if you haven't already done so, please make sure that you follow me on social media at History Maker DJS. That is at History Maker DJS. Please follow me on Twitter and the Instagram at History Maker DJS. You can add me on Facebook as well for collaborations and business inquiries. Please send me an email. Send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Please make sure that you like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. That is, all of those links are in the description, so please go check that out if you haven't already checked that out. The Lightning Flash update from last week. You guys showed the fuck up. You guys really fucking missed me. And it goes to show you, Saturdays are my day. Saturdays are just my fucking day. 155 views so far within a 3-day period. You guys absolutely showed up and showed out for the LFU. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Thank you all. Thank you all for that. Definitely means a lot to me. Really shows you that you missed me. I know. It's not like me to not do these Saturday streams. I know. I'm very well aware of that. Trust me. But we are going to get back on track. There's going to be a lot more Saturday streams going forward, a lot more LFUs going forward, and we're going to close out the year very, very strong because I'm planning on doing a special Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve edition of the Lightning Flash update. So stick around. You are not going to want to miss it. We'll do it in the afternoon as per usual. I know some of you might be heading to some holiday parties, but trust me, you're going to want to spend your Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve with me, DJ Storms. Anyway. If you guys haven't already done so, I don't know what the fuck you're doing if you haven't already done so. When you come on in, you like the fucking video. You come in and you like the video no matter where you're watching it on. Whether you're watching it on YouTube, my YouTube, or the Hardcore Sports YouTube channel. Whether you're watching it on the DJ Storms Posse Facebook page, Facebook group page. Whether you're watching it on the Hardcore Sports Twitch, which is right down there. Whether you're watching it on Hardcore Sports Twitter, at Hardcore Sports N, or my Twitter, or the Hardcore Sports YouTube channel. Now, we're not streaming live on the Hardcore Sports Instagram page, but still, follow them on Instagram because we are absolutely on our way to being the number one fucking brand in sports analytics. And I'm talking about all sports analytics. I am talking about football, baseball, basketball, hockey, UFC, WWE, AEW, everything in between. You guys are going to want to stick with the Hardcore Sports brand and become a Hardcore Sports fan because Hardcore Sports is the fucking place to be, no matter who you are or what kind of sports you may be into. Please make sure that if you're watching on YouTube, please make sure that you hit the like button. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well, whether it's on my YouTube channel or the Hardcore Sports YouTube channel. We recently just peaked over 200 subs for Hardcore Sports. We want to get to 300, 400, 500, 600, all the way to 1,000 and beyond. Absolutely. Please make sure that you also share the stream out on all platforms, social media, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever social media platforms that you may be using. And, of course, if you're watching after you hit the subscribe button on YouTube, you got to hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace, because that way, you're going to know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, baby, it is the best time to be on YouTube. And do you know why? Because it's the only place that you're going to get to see this glorious sideburn chin strap combination, this beautiful mustache, perfectly slick back pompadour, and a partridge in a pear tree. And this is Earl Cole's favorite part of the stream right here. Oh, you know. It is the magic comb right here. We're going to light it up on the channel with a little and a dash of and a whole lot of Because like baked clams, just like a nice seafood salad, just like nice calamari with tomato sauce for dipping, just like a nice steaming hot crab cake. A lot of seafood dinners I'm throwing out there. I'm feeling in a seafood mood. I'm just so good. And yes, Hannah decided to stop by. Hannah is fucking awesome. Hannah is a real one. Hannah has been supporting me for quite some time, and she has stuck by me through almost my entire tenure as DJ Storm. So shout out to Hannah. Hannah's awesome. Hannah is a very, very kind individual, and I hope that Hannah is having a very good Christmas season thus far. And even though NXT sucks, I'm very, very happy that you joined me here to talk about the black and silver, or the silver and gold brand now. Silver and gold. So it sounds like I'm talking about fucking Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And you got that fucking snowman playing the fucking guitar. Silver and gold, silver and... I'm actually wearing silver and gold. This is a gold Christ head and silver cross. So I'm actually wearing silver and gold. So I guess I shouldn't be fucking talking. But either way, we have a lot to get into. Shout out to Hannah. She's graduating in 5 months. Congratulations, Hannah. Done a great job. Congratulations, moving on to a new chapter in your life. And I'm glad that you can graduate with DJ Storms in your life, because everybody needs a little daily dose of DJ motherfucking Storms. Anyway, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Listen, I could stroke my own ego all fucking stream, but we got some shit to get into, so we're going to get straight into what we need to get into here. Let's talk about the reports that have been going around here. Obviously, the big one. Let's knock this one out first, considering that this is the biggest story. William Regal. There was rumors going around over the weekend that William Regal could very well be on his way out of AEW. Sean Ross Sapp discussed that it was definitely a possibility, because they said that his deal actually expired this month. I didn't think that it was going to be this soon, but it was indeed reported earlier in the week. I believe it was on Sunday, literally 24 hours after I did what I did, talking about how Tony Khan needs to make sure that he makes William Regal a deal that he cannot refuse. He needs to bend over backwards to give William Regal what he wants. Literally 24 hours after the LFU, where I talked about that, Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer Radio confirmed that William Regal has officially left AEW and a WWE return is imminent. He confirmed that William Regal had an out, according to WWE side of things, and last Wednesday served as a final farewell. You guys missed last Wednesday's Dynamite. We had an unbelievable fucking promo with MJF his first promo as the world champion, in which William Regal introduced him. They crowned him with a new AEW World Championship belt, which he calls the Big Burberry belt, Triple B. And then afterwards, MJF took the Dynamite Diamond ring, blasted William Regal in the back of the neck with it, and William Regal was taken away on a gurney into an ambulance, never to be seen again. I was not planning on talking about this on this show. I really wanted to save it for the Lightning Flash update on Saturday because I wanted to gather up more thoughts on it. I wanted to let things sink in. I really wanted to sit on it and take down some notes and gather up all my thoughts before I tell them to the public. But I figured that now would be a good time to talk about it, considering that it's still fresh in everyone's mind. And you know how things can obviously change at the drop of a dime, and we can move from one topic to another here in the landscape of 2022, going on in 2023. That's just how the world is. That's how society is in this modern age. If this is true, this is a huge, and I mean a huge fucking loss for Tony Khan. This may be Tony Khan's biggest failure. I don't want to use that word failure with Tony Khan because Tony Khan has been anything but a failure. But in this case, this was the biggest fucking failure that Tony Khan has ever done in his short tenure of running a wrestling promotion. First of all, the biggest mistake that Tony Khan made was giving William Regal an out to begin with. An out is if Triple H returned to power, which he did. And no one could have expected it. That was probably the most unexpected thing to ever come out of this year. You could say all you fucking want with William Regal coming into AEW and William Regal leaving AEW right here. We could talk about the fucking Blackpool Combat Club, Swerve Strickland, the Acclaimed's rise to fame, fucking Bianca and Becky tearing the house down at WrestleMania, Bayley recruiting Dakota and Io Sky, War Games being announced for Survivor Series, Cody returning to WWE, Bray Wyatt returning to WWE, Karrion Kross. You could roll all this up into one, and it will still not equal the amount of shock and awe and the amount of buzz that happened when Vince McMahon announced his retirement. That still will go down as the most unexpected, the most shocking moment of the pro wrestling modern era. No one could have anticipated that. So Tony Khan figured that he had William Regal locked in for 3 years, but he had an out. Why would you give William Regal an out? If the current administration of Triple H treated you like shit, or there was some friction with the relationship between Tony Khan and Triple H, why did you even give William Regal an out to begin with? Yes, I know he's a veteran. Yes, I know he's someone to be respected. Yes, I know you give him special privileges for what he did for the business and the type of human being that he is. It is called being a great human being right back to a great human being. I understand that, but at the end of the day, you're supposed to be a fucking CEO. If you want someone locked down, I sound like the fucking Usos cutting that fucking promo in 2018. Locked down. We got the tag team division on lockdown. If Tony Khan wants someone locked the fuck down, why would you give them an out? Especially someone like William Regal. William Regal could have been Tony Khan's most valuable acquisition ever. I don't think there would have ever been another William Regal. The amount of knowledge that William Regal has and the amount of creativity that William Regal has, an eye for talent. You think that Triple H got the likes of Gunther and Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate all on his own? No. William Regal helped him recruit those guys. William Regal could have scouted the globe. Scouted the fucking globe for the next big superstars for Tony Khan. William Regal could have been the head creative writer and the general manager of the Ring of Honor brand when Ring of Honor got their television show, which is supposedly coming in the beginning of 2023. How you let this man walk right out the fucking door with an out like that? That right there was mistake number one. That was mistake number one. Mistake number two. Now, there's been some reports going around that William Regal regretted joining AEW because there was a lot of maturity issues, especially with upper management. Now, Brian Pillman Jr., he responded to, I can't remember who it was. It may have been Sean Ross Sapp. May have been Dave Meltzer, someone of that nature. Maybe Mike Johnson. I don't know. But he responded to some source. He responded to some fucking source, and he stated that this is not entirely true. Now, let me see if I can find the tweet. Let me see if I can find the tweet for you while I'm live here. Flying Brian. Here we go. I'm on his Twitter right now. Let me see if I can find the tweet. What day was it from? I can't even fucking remember. I'm scrolling through his Twitter right now. My God, how often does this fucking guy tweet? I don't even fucking know. Did he delete it? What day was it from? Did he delete it? I want to get the legit fucking truth here. I apologize for the fucking delay here. Where is this shit? Here we go. It was Justin LaBar. So Justin LaBar, he talked about he was close with Triple H, and he felt that the locker room was immature and they weren't open to his advice. So Brian Pillman Jr. responded to Justin LaBar saying, and I quote, "This is not entirely true. There are several of us, myself included, who spent multiple hours of TV working with Regal and learning from him. Should there have been more? Maybe. But he and Danielson always had a solid audience around the ring before TV." Now, who could that some be? I don't know. I honestly don't know. But if William Regal and Bryan Danielson always had a solid audience around themselves before TV, then I'd say that William Regal's impact was being felt very, very, very much so. So if it was not entirely true, then these reports completely blew that shit out of proportion. Now, what reason would William Regal have for going back to WWE? It's quite simple. Triple H. Triple H and William Regal are like this. They worked together for how many fucking years in NXT? How many years was William Regal the general manager of NXT? Nearly 8 years. William Regal was the general manager of NXT. So why exactly would William Regal be anything but loyal to Triple H? Again, no one could have expected Triple H to take over in the middle of 2022, out of nowhere, and Vince McMahon retire. I didn't think any allegation was going to take Vince McMahon out of power. I didn't. I don't think anyone did. But it happened. So the reason being, because of Triple H. And unfortunately, that is the risk that Tony Khan is taking when he signs a lot of I don't want to use ex-WWE guys, but I don't really know what other term to use. Now I'm not saying that as a disparaging comment, because all I care about is good pro wrestling. But the negative part about that is a lot of these individuals were Triple H projects. And now that Triple H is in power. Triple H is running the ship over there, and WWE's roster, that needs a lot of fucking replenishing. AEW's roster could use a little sizing down, at least until they get some more TV time. All of those individuals that were working for Tony Khan for the last year or year and a half, they don't know Tony Khan like they know Triple H. Triple H has been working with them for how many years? 3, 4, 5, 6 years? Triple H is like a second father figure to them. William Regal's virtually Triple H's third or fourth best friend, right under Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash, and Road Dogg. Triple H and William Regal are like fucking brothers when it comes to running a wrestling promotion. They love the fucking business. They've done everything together. They built a fucking empire with NXT. And that's unfortunately the risk that Tony Khan is taking. The fact that Tony Khan gave William Regal an out like that right there was his biggest mistake that he could have possibly fucking made. He should have been upfront with Regal and said, look, if you want to be a part of this, and I want to bring you in, this is what you're going to do, and this is how it's going to be. And I want you to bring a sense of legitimacy to that locker room and teach the younger generation. And Tony Khan should have been right there with them, learning from William Regal, so that way he has more experience going into the future regarding everything AEW related, whether it be PR, creative, booking the show, getting a feel for the locker room, running the locker room, being a locker room leader, being a fucking CEO. He could have learned so much from William Regal. Now William Regal's not there anymore, and they let him walk right out the door. Is AEW going out of business? No, absolutely fucking not. They've proven time and time again, they're not going out of business. TNT, TBS, Time Warner, they're very happy with them. But that doesn't mean that the quality can't dip. AEW's never produced bad wrestling shows. There's never been a bad, per se, AEW show. But there's been a couple lackluster ones. There's been a couple directionless ones. And there's been a couple of shows that have not had any story that have gone into it. When it comes down to it, Tony Khan just let his biggest asset walk right out the door. And yes, Lisa, I see you. Another part of it probably has to do with his son. Because his son is working down there in NXT. His son is a part of the company. A lot of these individuals that want to go elsewhere, or they want to quote unquote leave AEW, or they're not happy with AEW, it's because a lot of them aren't with their significant other. It can be rough working in a different work environment as opposed to where your significant other is working, especially in the pro wrestling industry. Andrade, he's married to Charlotte. Buddy Murphy's dating Rhea Ripley. Black is married to Zelina Vega. And William Regal's got his son. Obviously, they're family. So, I can understand that part. But Tony Khan, he really needs to assemble a solid creative development management team. So that way he can delegate some fucking duties. William Regal should have been head of that team, right there with Tony Khan. It should have been Tony Khan and number 2. It's quite, I honestly don't even know what to say. It's actually quite astonishing how Tony Khan can just let someone like that walk away. It serves as a major problem because if Tony Khan let William Regal walk and he sees a guy as big as William Regal walk, then it's going to spark up some chatter in the locker room, and it's going to spark up a bad mentality in the locker room. Oh, you let Regal go, but you won't let me go, and you're not really featuring me on TV too much, and I want to go elsewhere. Tony Khan may very well have a very unhappy locker room on his hands once again. Any other news breaks, I'll be sure to keep you guys updated. My next piece of news here has to do with WWE now. Stephanie McMahon, she was recently interviewed, and she stated that WWE, with their new Australian cable deal, they could very well end up seeing another stadium show in the land down under very, very soon. If you guys do not remember, the last major Australian show for WWE, may have been the only major Australian show for WWE, was WWE Super Showdown, the first ever Super Showdown before they moved Super Showdown to be a Saudi Arabian show. But it was Super Showdown, I believe, I want to say October 6th or October 7th, October 8th, 2018. Somewhere around that vicinity range. Maybe October 2nd. Somewhere in the first week of October of 2018, 4 years ago, a little over 4 years ago, it was Super Showdown in, I don't know what stadium is down there in Australia, but it was the big Australian stadium show, Super Showdown, in the first week of October in 2018. And there was three things I distinctly remember of that show. Number one, Undertaker and Triple H had their last time ever matchup, with Triple H getting the win. And then that set up DX versus the Brothers of Destruction at Crown Jewel of 2018, which turned out to be perhaps one of the worst matches of the year. It was that. Number two, Cedric Alexander and Buddy Murphy put on a fantastic match for the Cruiserweight Championship. Went about 11 minutes, but it was fantastic. That was number two. And then number three, Samoa Joe was fucking buried when he tapped out to AJ Styles. AJ Styles may be AJ Styles, but Samoa Joe should be tapping to absolutely nobody. And those were the three things that I mainly remember from that show. There were a couple of undercard things that happened on the show. The New Day beat The Bar. Becky and Charlotte had a match for the SmackDown Women's title. But that was the last major stadium show in Australia. So if they want to go back to Australia, I got no issue with that. I got no issue with that whatsoever. I say it all the time. I don't care where you host it. Saudi Arabia, Australia, you host it in the fucking backyard. If you host it up in fucking Alaska in a fucking winter wonderland. If you host it in the fucking north, but just give me a decent show. So I don't really care. Just give me a decent show. And my final report before we get into the NXT portion actually has to do with NXT. And this is probably the most positive report that I have for you. And it comes from WrestleVotes. WrestleVotes got this report from Mike Johnson of PW Insider, and they reported, and I quote, "Hearing some great news out of the PC this afternoon. Source states NXT is returning to the road for their future premium live events, starting with Vengeance Day on February 4th from Charlotte, North Carolina." Thank fucking Christ. Thank God. They're finally returning on the road for their premium live events. Good. Good. This should have been one of the top priorities coming out of the Thunderdome era. We should have been right back to huge arena crowds, not Orlando, Florida, for the NXT or not takeovers, but the premium live events. We should have been right back to touring for the premium live events for NXT. And the only reason why we weren't is because Triple H and Bruce, or not Triple H and Bruce, Vince and Bruce were taking over at the time, and their motive was to absolutely fucking destroy and kill everything Triple H related. Their motive was to absolutely castrate NXT, gut it like a fucking fish. And that's exactly what they did. That's exactly what happened. NXT was fucking destroyed. Absolutely fucking destroyed. Absolutely fucking killed. And it's still in the rehabilitation process, which is what we're going to talk about now. But this right here, major fucking step in the right direction. And the fact that they're back to touring once again, now NXT can get back at least to some minor semblance of what it was. I don't mind the 2 hours. I don't mind the touring. I don't mind the premium live events. I have no problem with that. But what I mind is the booking. It's the aura. And if we're going to get back to at least some of what Black and Gold was, because we're never going back to Black and Gold. Never. We're never going back to black and gold. Now, black and gold is Raw and SmackDown. Now it's the red and the blue brand. But we're never going to go back to NXT Black and Gold, which still to this day is the best wrestling era since the Attitude Era. Nothing will touch NXT Black and Gold. Not even AEW has come close to what NXT Black and Gold was. But I'm very, very happy to hear that they're looking to tour again, and we're getting back to what we need to get back to when we're finally in a position where NXT can finally be looked at as something of substance, because NXT has been absolutely dead for over a year now. Now, I think that everyone has been wanting to hear my thoughts on NXT Deadline. NXT Deadline we got. NXT Deadline. NXT is actually going on right now as we speak. So, right now, matches could be confirmed for Deadline right now, and I wouldn't even know. Let's actually check the spoilers. What's going on NXT right now? Has any matches been confirmed? You guys are going to have to keep me up to date. Axiom just picked up the victory, and Axiom is the 5th man who is joining the Iron Survivor Challenge. I have no issue with that whatsoever. Matter of fact, I'm actually starting to warm up to Axiom a little bit. I have no issue with that. We also got Julius and Brutus Creed. They want Sangha and Veer Mahan. I'm assuming that that's probably going to be a match this Saturday. Here's some big fucking news right here. Vincent and Dutch of The Righteous are currently seated in the crowd at NXT. Holy shit. Now that right there, that's actually pretty fucking interesting. You know, I would not mind if Vincent and Dutch actually joined forces with Bray Wyatt. I wouldn't mind that whatsoever. I think that's a great fucking move. That's what I want. I want Vincent and Dutch. They don't belong on NXT. They fucking belong on the main roster with Bray Wyatt. Bring Bray Wyatt in there. Put Vincent Dutch. Bring back Eric Rowan. Put Alexa Bliss in there. And then maybe Mika Rotunda. And that's the Wyatt 6 right there. That's the Wyatt 6. So, NXT Deadline. I'm pretty sure we're going to see more news and rumors come in for NXT as we go along. NXT Deadline. I mentioned before that the NXT brand has been destroyed. The NXT brand has been destroyed. It's been castrated, gutted, absolutely buried. Made to look like child's play. Made to look like fucking amateur hour. You could trash AEW all you want. NXT is the worst wrestling show on television, period. It is so fucking bad. Even with Triple H in charge. Now, I understand why. It's because NXT is not his priority right now. We're slowly starting to see some change in NXT, but it's not enough. Triple H, I realize it's not a priority right now, but he has had a couple of chances to hit the reset button with NXT, specifically with Worlds Collide and with Halloween Havoc. Worlds Collide was a decent show, but at the end of the day, it was nothing memorable whatsoever. It was virtually a 2-3 match show. The NXT Women's Tag Team Championship match sucked. And that's not because of Katana and Kaden. because I love those women. They're absolutely fantastic at what they do. They should be on the main roster. The issue was the formation of the show, how it just got pieced together out of nowhere. And on top of that, they were fighting fucking Doudrop and Nikki ASH before Nikki turned back into Nikki Cross. Then you just got the fact that we knew that NXT UK was ending, and we knew that we were pretty much going to get all new champions crowned, and all of the UK individuals were going straight back to the UK. There was only a few that were actually going to stick around. Dragunov was not sticking around. Tyler Bate wasn't sticking around. Mako Satomura, Blair Davenport, they weren't sticking around. None of these individuals were sticking around. And then Halloween Havoc. That had a couple of good matches, 2 great matches, actually. One was the ladder match. The other was the triple threat match with Bron Breakker, JD McDonough, and Ilya Dragunov, which turned out to be perhaps the best triple threat match that WWE has had all year. The only triple threat match that has come close to that was probably the women's triple threat match at Hell in a Cell with Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, and Asuka. But everything else minus the main event scene and the mid-card scene. It's the NXT Championship scene and the North American Championship title scene. Everything else sucks. 2 good things on a show does not make the overall show good. We've still had lame, cheesy comedy. Andre Chase and Chase University fucking sucks. We've had Wendy Chu still getting a spotlight on TV. Cora Jade is still getting a spot. Why is Cora Jade on TV? Why is Cora Jade? She's one of the worst professional wrestlers on the face of this fucking planet. I'd take Alexa Bliss over Cora Jade. And Alexa Bliss can barely throw a fucking punch. But I will say, she's actually been pretty decent in the last few matches that she's had. So many people that don't even belong on TV. You got Pretty Deadly being over-accentuated. Pretty Deadly was not this over-accentuated in NXT UK. They were not this overly gimmicky in NXT UK. I don't mind the Yes Boy and all that shit, but they were not this hokey and this cheesy and this, I don't even want to say it, but this cringeworthy in NXT UK. They weren't. They were booked like legit fucking threats. Not chicken shit heels that fucking do comedy act and stare at each other in stupid fucking workout vignettes. I want to watch 2 pretty boy pricks go out there and make people hate them. I don't want to watch a wrestler's version of Bros. And my fucking God, thank Christ I do not have anyone that is into that shit. Thank God I do not have any friends that are into that type of shit. And I didn't have to go to the movies with one of my friends to see that bullshit. I do not want a wrestler's version of Bros. I do not want implication that these 2 participate in gay orgies. Because they're 2 gay men, whatever it may be. Whatever they're trying to imply, I don't want that shit. I want pretty boy pricks that are going to go out there and make people want to see them get punched in the face like NXT UK. That's what I'm looking for. In conclusion, NXT sucks donkey cock. This show, it must, I know if, ands, buts, or maybes, this show must be a reset. This show needs to be a reset. This show needs to be a statement from whoever's running the show, X-Pac, Road Dogg, Michaels, Triple H, whoever the fuck is running that show needs to make a statement. Needs to make a statement. Whoever's running that show needs to plant their flag into the ground and let it wave in the wind. And they need to plant it sturdy, and they need to make this brand stand out from what we saw over the course of the last 15 fucking months. We need a show that is going to give us, if anything, hope. We need a show on Saturday. I don't give a shit what you think of NXT. NXT is terrible. Terrible. We need a show that is going to give us at least 1 ounce of hope that we are going to see change. Change has been felt on Raw. We've had a couple of lackluster ones. We've had a couple of good ones. Change has been very much felt on SmackDown. SmackDown is right now the best WWE show in the company right now. We have felt the change with SmackDown. We felt a little change with Raw too. We have not felt that change with NXT. We need to feel that change with NXT on Saturday. Because if we don't, then I don't even know if we're ever going to get it. And if we do, we may have to wait months for it. I don't want to wait until the next big premium live event. I don't want to wait until the next week or the next week. I want to see some change now. We are going on 5-6 months and we have not seen 1 ounce of change with NXT. And if we have, I have picked out something that's very minimal and it doesn't even continue into the next week. We see a little bit of change and then it just dies right then and there. And then we go back to the same bullshit the next week on NXT. This show must be a reset. This show must be a statement. This show must be the turning point. Michael said Halloween Havoc was a turning point. It wasn't. This show needs to be the turning point. Because if it's not, I don't know if it's ever going to come. I don't. Now, this match, it's not confirmed yet. Maybe it has. Maybe I haven't really been paying too much attention. But this match is not confirmed yet, but I assume that it's going to be happening this Saturday. For the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, it is Katana Chance and Kayden Carter versus Toxic Attraction. I assume that this is going to happen based on what happened last week. Based on what happened last week, especially considering that Toxic Attraction and Mandy Rose, they defeated Nikita Lyons and Kayden Carter and Katana Chance, with Nikita Lyons obviously taking the pinfall because Kayden and Katana, they are tag team champions, so they should not be losing. But that is definitely a match that I can see happening. Now, could they wait until next week? Possibly, but that is definitely a match that I can see happening as a come-down match, because there's not really a come-down match on the show thus far. Now, Toxic Attraction, I don't know what it is with Toxic Attraction, but Toxic Attraction, I'm fucking over Toxic Attraction. I really am. The only individual that has any value in Toxic Attraction is Mandy Rose. It is legitimately, all I see, and I'm not trying to make comparisons, but all I see is Shayna Baszler with Mandy Rose. All I see is a woman in Mandy Rose, Shayna Baszler, in this case is Mandy Rose, and the other two, Gigi and JC, are Gigi Dolan and JC Jane. They are Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke. And that is pretty much all it is. It is another reincarnation of Shayna Baszler and the other two horsewomen, minus Ronda Rousey, that walked around and kept Shayna Baszler from losing the NXT Women's Championship at the time. What is the point of them? Seriously, what is the point of them? They don't add any value to TV. Gigi Dolan and JC Jane are two of the sloppiest wrestlers in NXT right now. Gigi Dolan and JC Jane right now do not even belong anywhere near a wrestling ring. I don't even know how it's possible, but they've somehow gotten worse. They've somehow gotten worse. I don't fucking understand. I really don't fucking understand. They're sloppy. They're uncoordinated. It's just absolutely unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. And you'd think that with Vince gone, they would actually have some more time to spend in the fucking PC. They're not good. Neither of them are good. Mandy is the only one with any substance. Mandy can actually cut a promo. Mandy can actually fucking wrestle. Mandy has actually had good matches. The most tolerable match that Toxic Attraction has ever had, surprise, surprise, was with Katana and Kayden. Because Katana and Kayden, they could lead fucking broomsticks to decent matches. But at the end of the day, this match right here, it's not going to be anything of note. And that's not because Kayden and Katana are bad, because those two women are two women that I would absolutely recruit, at least in my top 5. If I was recruiting talent out of NXT, those two women would be in my top 5. Those two women, where they were 3-4 years ago to where they are now, the progression is absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable. Gigi and JC, they've somehow gotten worse from when we first started. And that's fucking pathetic. Unfortunately, for us, at least, as wrestling fans, unfortunately, I can honestly see Toxic Attraction moving up to the main roster at some point in 2023. And if that's the case, then Katana and Kayden should retain here. There's no reason why Toxic Attraction needs to win the championships back. Whoever wins the Iron Survivor Challenge, which I assume, and we're going to talk about that next, is going to be Roxanne Perez, then at the end of the day, Roxanne Perez should beat Mandy Rose. Because Roxanne Perez is the best babyface that they have in the women's division minus Nikita Lyons. So if Roxanne is going to beat Mandy, which I assume it's probably going to be at New Year's Evil. It's probably going to be at New Year's Evil, which I believe is on, Tuesday, January 3rd? Yeah, Tuesday, January 3rd. I assume that is going to be New Year's Evil. I assume that is going to be NXT New Year's Evil, and that is going to be where we get Mandy versus Roxanne for the NXT Women's Championship, with Roxanne inevitably taking the championship off of Mandy Rose. And if that's the case, then it would make 0 sense to give the championships to Toxic Attraction here. Although Shawn Michaels has proven that he's got his head so far up his own ass that he actually thinks that what he's been doing for the last several months, because he's apparently running NXT, that what he's been doing is actually good. Some people have even said that he's got a fucking Toxic Attraction fetish. Whatever it may be, I would not be surprised if Toxic Attraction wins. But I'm going with Katana and Kayden, because they, right now, are two of the best, maybe the top 2 in the NXT women's division when it comes to in-ring work. When it comes to in-ring work, I don't think there's anyone that can touch them. Maybe Alba Fire. Maybe Tiffany Stratton, but that's about it. That's about it. Other than that, Katana and Kayden are number 1 and 2. No one holds a candle to them. They need to be on the main. We need those two on the main. Kayden, I see a fucking monster heel in Kayden. She just has that look. Casey, I'm telling you, if they do not see the female Daniel Bryan in Casey, if they do not see that come from behind underdog babyface in Katana Chance, Casey Catanzaro, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I got Katana and Kayden retaining here should this match get confirmed, which I assume it will. We could very well see the Creed brothers versus Sangha and Veer Mahan. Now, Sangha and Veer Mahan, I don't mind them. I actually enjoy Sangha and Veer Mahan. They're not bad in the ring. They're two very intimidating men. Now, they may not seem like anything special now, but I would like to believe that in due time they will be something special. But I don't see them winning the NXT Tag Team Championship anytime soon. whoever takes the titles off of Pretty Deadly is probably going to end up dropping the titles to Veer and Sangha. But with Veer and Sangha now as a duo, it just adds a tag team to the NXT Tag Team Division. We need that tag team division to be replenished. So I hope to God that they will be replenishing that tag team division sooner rather than later. But if we do get that match announced, obviously I'm going with Veer and Sangha. The Creed brothers are already super over. The Creed brothers are ready for the main roster. Let's talk about one of the Iron Survivor challenges. We got Zoe Stark versus Cora Jade versus Roxanne Perez versus Kiana James versus either Wendy Chu, Fallon Henley, or Indy Hartwell. If I'm going for a choice here, I'm probably going to go with Indy Hartwell. I'm going with Indy Hartwell winning the final triple threat match to advance as the 5th woman in the Iron Survivor Challenge, and I am saying that is the field of 5. Now we got this new match concept, 25 minutes. Whoever has the most falls in 25 minutes wins the Iron Survivor Challenge, and if you are pinned, then you are tossed into the penalty box. Now, I remember Impact actually did this for their 20th year anniversary back at Slammiversary this year. It was in June. It was the Queen of the Mountain match. And I had no issue with the 5 women that were competing in the match because you had Mia Yim in there, you had Deonna Purrazzo, I believe you had Chelsea Green, you had Tasha Steelz, who she's a Jersey girl, so I got to support my fucking Jersey girls. Tasha Steelz, she's A-OK. She's A-O-fucking-K. And then you got Jordynne Grace, who's a great wrestler, but I think she's a fucking ass clown. Those 5 women worked their ass off in the match, but it was way too fucking gimmicky. It was a ladder match with pinfalls, essentially. A ladder match with fucking pinfalls, and I was sitting back and watching it, and I'm like, this shit is fucking overly convoluted. It honestly is so overly convoluted. And I'm thinking to myself, this is a fucking spit in the face to the actual women that are wrestling their asses off in this match. And I'm honestly getting that vibe from this Iron Survivor Challenge, and we haven't even had the matches yet. Now, again, I don't want to be one to judge a book by its cover. I don't want to be one to judge something before it even fucking happens. But I mean, can you blame me? Especially with something like NXT? Something like NXT that's fucking sucked for the last 15 months? Can you blame me? I'm legitimately fucking concerned. I really am. I'm legitimately fucking concerned. I'm legitimately concerned that these 10 individuals, men and women, these 5 men and 5 women are going to put on great performances, but yet it's going to be overshadowed by all this fucking gimmicky shit with the Iron Survivor Challenge. Now, granted, it's not a ladder match. We actually need pinfalls in this. So it should be fairly interesting. We'll see what happens. Regardless of that, who do I think will win? This is an easy one. Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez right now is the best overall babyface that you have in NXT. Nikita Lyons, I know a lot of people are going to say Nikita Lyons. Listen, Nikita Lyons, over the course of the last couple of matches, especially her matches with Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, and her performance against Toxic Attraction, she has shown a lot more intensity, she's shown a lot more fluidity, and she's getting a hell of a lot better. That much I will say. But Nikita Lyons is not ready. At least not yet. Not yet. When Nikita Lyons is ready, you will know it. When Nikita Lyons is prepared for that spotlight, when Nikita Lyons is ready to grab that opportunity, run with it, grab the ball, run with it, seize it, and not trip over herself, figuratively speaking, you're all going to know it. She's not there yet. Roxanne Perez is there. Even at 21, even at such a young age, she's fluid in the ring. She's intense. The future is bright. She's not bad on the microphone. And she has that underdog babyface feel to her. She's only going to get better. I've seen great improvement from Roxanne Perez week after week after week after week, especially against the big names. She held her own against Meiko Satomura. I mean, if you can hold your own against Meiko fucking Satomura, then you are someone who should be taken at least a little bit seriously. Roxanne Perez is the best option as we speak. Roxanne Perez wins this match. Then, I'm guessing at New Year's Evil, then we get the inevitable crowning of a new star. And Mandy Rose and her title reign, it will not end up looking like a complete fucking flop in the end, because all of that will be transferred to Roxanne Perez, and Roxanne Perez will go into 2023 as the queen of the women's division, as the flag bearer, and then I do believe that we will be getting Tiffany Stratton coming back, and Tiffany Stratton, who is excellent, actually. I'm actually older than Tiffany Stratton, and I actually feel a little underaccomplished that she is doing all that great shit at 23 years old, going on 24 in May. Tiffany Stratton is fucking great at what she does, and she's been injured because of what happened in that Lights Out match with Wendy Chu a couple months back, so I hope that she's back soon. But when she's back, I do believe that it's going to be Tiffany Stratton that inevitably takes the title off of Wendy Chu. Not Wendy Chu. I don't know why the fuck I'm thinking about that fucking Lights Out match. God, Wendy Chu sucks. Why is she employed? She's not a bad wrestler, but holy shit, her gimmick fucking sucks dick too. Roxanne Perez. We get Roxanne, we get Tiffany. Tiffany becomes the NXT Women's Champion, and then after Tiffany holds it for a solid amount of time, then Nikita Lyons will inevitably be ready. That's how I see everything playing out. So as far as the Iron Survivor Challenge for the women, I got Roxanne Perez. Now, let's talk about the men. I feel as though the winner of this match kind of determines the winner of the main event. That kind of determines the winner of the main event. You got Grayson Waller, Joe Gacy, Carmelo Hayes, JD McDonough, and Axiom. Now, I could do without Joe Gacy in this, to be quite honest with you. And that's not because he's a bad pro wrestler. He's a fine pro wrestler. He's a decent little pro wrestler. The problem is the gimmick. Schism is another gimmick. How many fucking times have I said this? Schism sucks dick. The gimmick is ass. Ava Raine and her career is dead before it even got started. I mean, if you don't believe me, watch the fucking show and you will see how fucking bad it is. They're nothing but a happy-go-lucky Wyatt family. They're nothing but a take off your mask. They're nothing but a fucking smiley cult Wyatt family. So what are we going to get? What are we going to get? It could honestly go to anyone, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. It could honestly go to anybody. But if you're asking me, who are the best choices? I would either go with either Axiom or Carmelo Hayes. Axiom right now, that is probably one of the very few gimmick changes, one of the very few name changes that I actually don't mind. A-Kid was fine, but he didn't really have too much of a gimmick. Now they put him in this mask. It may look a little ridiculous, but the entrance is kind of cool. And if you're asking me, I don't know how he does it, but it's almost as if when he put the mask on, I don't know what the fuck happened, but dare I say that when A-Kid put the mask on, he almost got, it's like he got better in the ring. I mean, like, he was great in the ring to begin with, but it's almost like he turned up the intensity. He's able to fly around more. He's able to do a lot of cool things. Meanwhile, when he was A-Kid, I think he was a little bit more technical. But whatever it may be, I actually like Axiom. I don't mind it at all. Especially his matches with Nathan Frazer. I mean, holy shit, those matches were great. Those matches were phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So what do we have here? What do we have here? It could either be Axiom or it could either be Carmelo Hayes. And I say that because, A, Axiom would be fresh. Axiom, being in this scenario, would give us someone new, someone who can put on a fucking exciting match, and someone that's going to go out there and do whatever he can to steal the fucking show. And that right there is what is going to make the NXT Championship feel coveted. It's going to make the NXT Championship feel important. And that's what we need. And then you got Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes, I can see winning this match, but for one solid reason only. Carmelo Hayes is easily, if I am picking one individual who's ready for the main roster, it's Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes has been ready for the main roster since the spring. He did not need to stay in NXT. After he lost the North American title to Cameron Grimes, he did not need to stay in NXT. He didn't. Carmelo Hayes was ready for the main roster. So I can absolutely see Carmelo Hayes winning this because I can, honest to God, I can honestly see them putting Carmelo Hayes in a scenario where he's going to fight for the NXT Championship, and we will inevitably see Carmelo Hayes' swan song in NXT. We are going to see Carmelo Hayes' swan song in NXT, and we will inevitably see Carmelo Hayes lose to whoever the NXT champion is, and we will see Carmelo Hayes move up to the main roster. I can honestly tell you, I have full confidence that we will see Carmelo Hayes in the Royal Rumble. By the way, I am looking at NXT right now. The New Day just showed up on NXT and they interrupted Pretty Deadly. And we got the New Day versus Pretty Deadly for the NXT Tag Team Championships at Deadline. Yes, you heard me correctly. Looks like you know what? Listen, the match itself should be great, but that just goes to show you how fucking terrible the NXT Tag Team division is. Now you have to have main roster tag teams going down to NXT to try and fill that void to help get the NXT talent over, because you have no one on Tuesday nights that is willing to go out there, that is good enough to go out there and help get your own champions over. The match should be great, don't get me wrong, but I mean, come on. Come on. It's fucking pathetic. But as far as the NXT Deadline Men's Iron Survivor Challenge, I'm going to go with Carmelo Hayes. And I can see Carmelo Hayes being the challenger for the NXT champion at New Year's Eve. Now, the NXT champion. Who's going to be the NXT champion? It's either going to be Bron Breakker or Apollo Crews. That is your main event for the NXT Championship. Bron Breakker is great. Apollo Crews is great. I fully expect these two to go out there and put on a fucking banger. Bron Breakker has been putting out nothing but bangers, actually, all year. Bangers. With Cameron Grimes, JD McDonough, Tyler Bate, Ilya Dragunov, and JD McDonough. Put on a very good match with Von Wagner, actually. So shout out to those two men. And now you got Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews came back down to NXT for one reason and one reason only, to win the NXT Championship. And this is probably the best role for Apollo Crews. And if you're asking me, it's time to pull the fucking trigger. I'm pulling the trigger on Apollo Crews, and I am absolutely giving the championship to Apollo Crews. You cannot, and I mean, you cannot waste any more time. Apollo Crews right now is probably the best option to take the NXT Championship from Bron Breakker. Bron Breakker right now, it is time to get that title off of him. You can do a rematch at a later date. Let's get Bron Breakker in the Royal Rumble. And then after Bron Breakker inevitably gets his rematch against Apollo Crews, then let's get Bron Breakker on the main roster the night after WrestleMania. Let's put him on Raw. Let's get Monday Night Raw flowing with some fresh new talent. Or if you want to, hell, you can put him on SmackDown too. As long as you spread the talent out. If you're asking me, I put Bron Breakker on Raw, and then I bring up Carmelo Hayes and put him on SmackDown with Hit Row. And I make Hit Row a top priority on SmackDown with Carmelo Hayes in there as their leader. You can bring up Trick Williams too. But I fully expect these two to put on an absolute banger. I fully expect these two to put on match of the night, easily match of the night. And I fully expect Apollo Crews to win the NXT Championship. He needs to win the NXT Championship. If Crews doesn't win the NXT Championship, I don't know who's taking that title off of Breakker. I really don't. Ladies and gentlemen, short stream, only an hour and 10 minutes plus. But we still had a good stream. We had a great stream, actually. We had a great turnout. So I would like to thank each and every single one of you for stopping by. You guys are fantastic. You guys really make being DJ Storms all worth it. Please do not forget to like, to comment, subscribe. Check out all the links in the description. I will be live on Thursday at 8 p.m. for the rundown for Ring of Honor Final Battle. LFU on Saturday. We got Deadline and Final Battle on Saturday. And then we got the rewind for Final Battle with Hula Grim at 1 p.m. on Sunday, December 11th. And then we got the rundown, or excuse me, the rewind for NXT Deadline on Monday, December 12th, 2 p.m. So we got a lot of streams. A lot more streams. Keep it real. You guys have been great. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Dee Dee. Thank you, Dylan. Big Boy Johnny. Thank you, everyone. You guys are fantastic. I'm DJ Storms. This has been the rundown. But before we get out of here, baby, who runs the IWC? I want to know. Who runs the IWC, baby? It's almost Christmas time, and Santa Claus may own Christmas, but who runs the IWC? I'll tell ya! Who? But DJ motherfucking Storms. And don't you forget it.